it is Christian here. I know. Long time no see. This is probably one of the first videos that will be going up on my channel in the new year, and it's not even a new year anymore. But I decided, you know what, it's time to get back on the wagon. It's time to start testing, playing, and trying new makeup again. So being me, I sat down for like days and I watched a ton of favorites videos, a ton of Sephora hauls, and I was kind of hop back on Trend Moods Instagram, and I was like, what have I been missing out on? What has been going on? What is new in makeup? I immediately watched Jaclyn Hill's most recent favorites video, and I typically buy most of what she recommends if it fits my lifestyle. And Jaclyn Hill has been one of those people since I really got into makeup and got into YouTube that has been a huge inspiration. And all in all, anytime I have tested things from her, I have never been let down or disappointed. It is rare. So I decided to sit down today and buy, well, not today, I decided to sit down today and test out some of the products that she recommended in her most recent video. Now, I did not purchase all of the products. I did not purchase the lashes. I did not purchase the lip gloss, and I also did not purchase the Kylie blushes because they are currently pretty much like out of stock. But everything else I did pick up from that video, or I picked up at least one thing from that particular video to test out today. So if you want to see what a regular Joe, such as myself, feels about Jaclyn Hill's makeup products, then you are definitely in the right place, and you for sure want to keep on watching. Spoiler alert, I am wearing it all on my face right now, so if you like the way my face makeup looks, then I use those products. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into the video. So before we get started, I do want to go ahead and mention all of the things that I did pick up from Jaclyn Hill's most recent favorites video. Now, a couple of the items I did already own, and some of the other items I did go out and purchase myself. So the three items that I already owned were the Smashbox Primer Oil, which I used to talk about a lot on my channel. I don't use it as much anymore because I'm a little bit more combination than dry. I do still get dry patches, but I used to love this stuff. As you can see, I used a pretty good amount. The Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder is another one that I already owned, and Jeffree Star's Mannequin. So the products that I went out and purchased that we're going to be putting to the test are the Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist. I also went out and purchased the Benefit Cheerleader Mini Bronze Squad. We're also going to be testing the brow pencil that she mentioned. I found mine at CVS. Everything else I was able to get at Ulta or Sephora. So this is the Cream Shop Micro Brow, and I went ahead and picked it up in soft brown. I also grabbed the Fenty Beauty Powder in the shade Lavender. And the last thing that I picked up was the Morphe bronzer. It is the Glamour Bronze in the shade Icon. Now, in the video, Jaclyn did not mention, if I remember correctly, she did not mention a foundation, and she did not mention an eyeshadow palette or a concealer. But if you watch Miss Jaclyn Hill, you'll know that her current favorite foundation is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, which I already own. We also know that she loves the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm sorry, mine's a little dirty. So we're going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape today. And also, I mean, would it be a Jaclyn Hill's favorite video without a Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette? So of course, those are all items that I already owned and I already use. Oh, and I almost forgot. Yes, I did go on Amazon. I was able to buy like a little handheld fan for like, I think this was like $11, and it is rechargeable. And it is USB rechargeable. So I did pick that up because Jaclyn is always talking about her fans. So let me go ahead and get my base makeup set down, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But as far as the foundation is concerned, this is one of my favorite foundations. It is definitely currently in the top 3, so I already know that I love that. The way that I personally would use the Smashbox Primer Oil is I typically use it after skincare, because I do typically put a little bit of oil on my skin before foundation. So I take a couple of drops, rub it in my hands, and then I just kind of press it into my skin for that little bit of extra hydration. And of course, you can also mix it into your foundations if you want your foundation to be a little bit more dewy. And then you kind of just let that sink in. Now, I am not a one primer type of girl, so I definitely use multiple primers. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take the Too Faced Born This Way. I'm in the shade Light Beige. Technically, I'm not in the shade Light Beige. Light Beige is a little bit too dark for me, but we're gonna go ahead and make it work. love this foundation, you guys. Like I said, it is currently in my top 3 favorite foundations. And before I took my very long makeup hiatus, you'll know that the Laura Mercier foundation used to be my favorite. You guys, it no longer is. I just realized I had too hard of a time finding the right color match for me in that foundation. And I would always end up looking gray or too yellow or too light, and I tried so many foundations, you guys. I tested it out so many times. I love the formula, but just the color match for me, I always had a hard time. But this foundation lays beautifully, and you can kind of see the primer oil giving me that nice bit of hydration and just making my skin just look a little bit more dewy. It's not super hot here in Houston, so I can kind of get away with being a little bit on the more dewy side. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply. So I love this foundation. It gives you just a very beautiful finish. It's one of the longest lasting foundations that I have. I know that I can put this foundation on and know that my base makeup will look really beautiful all day. And then, so you can kind of see all of my breakouts. So of course, I definitely have way more problematic skin than Miss Lovely Jaclyn Hill. But aside from the color match, ignore that. We'll even it out a little bit. Don't worry, I am going to drag the foundation down my neck. I just love this foundation. I've repurchased it now 3 times. So I know that Jaclyn is on the money with this foundation. Now this foundation for me is not typically this glowy. You can see all this extra glow that I have. That is the primer oil at work. If you have dry skin, that primer oil is amazing. And it will make your skin look so beautiful. I never, ever do my face makeup first. I always do eyes and brows first. But I figured that since these are the products, the base products, like the foundation and the concealer, and the primer are the things that I've already tried, I decided to go ahead and start with those today. This is the Farsali. I believe this was $39 for 1 ounce of product. And then we'll spray a little bit on the Beauty Blender. Ignore the color match of the foundation, you guys. Just ignore it, okay? But other than that, my skin looks so nice right now. I mean, of course, there's not going to be any foundation in the world that's going to cover up my, my raised red blemishes. But I just feel like, and that's something that I'm also not really as worried about as I used to be. I like my foundation to look a little bit more natural and a little bit more glowy, but while still staying in place. This foundation is amazing. Anyways, okay, so Jaclyn Hill definitely knocked it out of the park with this foundation, but I already knew that I loved it. We're gonna go in with the Tarte Shape Tape, which is, again, is not my favorite. Now, I like it more than I used to because I realized that I was using way too much. So now I personally will just take a couple of dots. And then I will just kind of work with that and just work on blending those parts out. I used to just go full ham crazy with the Tarte Shape Tape. So I feel like a less is more approach with the Tarte Shape Tape. But I do feel like if you have super dry under eyes, you might not love it. I typically color correct underneath my eyes, but Jaclyn personally does not do that. So we won't be doing that today. And I'm hoping that lavender brightening powder will get it done for me. I'm kind of regretting that color correcting, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna take a little bit, I'm gonna put a little bit right there. I'm gonna put a little bit on the chin because I am gonna try to lighten this foundation just a teeny bit. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna wet the Beauty Blender again, because that's something, again, that Jaclyn does do. So we're gonna wet the Beauty Blender a little bit with the Farsali Rose Gold Setting Mist. And then we're just going to tap things out a little bit more. I am super happy with the way my skin looks. And the mixture of the Farsali Rose Gold Elixir and the Smashbox Primer Water definitely did give this foundation a little bit more luminosity and a little bit more glow. But I think my skin looks super nice right now. It looks hydrated, it looks nice and plump, it looks canceled out, it looks even, it just looks really beautiful. And like the combination of all of the products is looking super nice on my skin. So I'm gonna take the Hourglass powder, and on my extra damp. I'm gonna be too glowy. I need to stop doing this. I'm gonna take whatever is in the cap. Now this is a product that, again, I have tried and I didn't love at first, you guys. I was kind of like, what is the hype? But the more I used this powder, the more I played with it, the more I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. I almost feel like my under eyes look so nice right now that they don't need to be set. I think adding that little bit of extra Farsali mixed in with the Tarte Shape Tape is making the Tarte Shape Tape a little bit more hydrating. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my under eyes typically look a lot more like dry than they currently do. So I'm impressed by that right now. We'll see how it sets with powder. So typically I'm going to take a little bit of powder on my sponge and we're going to start kind of just setting my face. I am avoiding the pore area a little bit with this particular foundation because, like Jaclyn has mentioned, that's not really a problem for her, but pores are a little bit of a problem for me. And this powder will accentuate pores a little bit because it's not glittery, but it does have a little bit of a nice sheen. So I typically don't put a lot of this powder around my pore areas. I'm just going to kind of dust it in that area with a brush. I'm not going to so much set it the way I am the rest of my powder with a beauty blender, if that makes sense. So we're just nicely, and this powder is so beautiful. It sinks into the skin. If you have dry skin, it is gorgeous. The next new product that we're going to be trying out is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Setting Powder in the shade Lavender. So I don't really do any baking because my under eyes are a little bit dry. So we're just going to use this as a setting powder. There's not going to be any baking happening. So the packaging of this is absolutely beautiful, you guys. It is such a nice powder. And on the inside, it has an FB for Fenty Beauty. And it definitely does have a lavender color to it. I don't know if you can tell, and I'm sure by now you've seen a million videos talking about this powder. And I'm just going to kind of work out the creases a little bit underneath my eye. And as you can see, it has creased a little bit, but nothing awful. Just kind of tap out the creases. We have the powder built up on the brush. I'm going to go back in one more time. Ooh, did I apply too much? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can already see the brightening. I feel like I might have applied too much. I was not prepared for that. Holy cow. Holy cow. Now, one thing that I will say, and that was my mistake, I should have used a color corrector because the brightening, you can definitely still see my my under eye darkness a little bit, but that was my mistake. So I don't know that this would be an everyday powder for me, but it is definitely setting everything down. Can you kind of see? You can even tell like where the brightening powder has kind of shifted the foundation, like shifted the color a little bit. So now what we're going to do is to kind of bring some life back into things, because now you can definitely see once everything has been set that everything now is looking pretty matte. I mean, the powder is nice. It sank into the skin. It doesn't look dry. It's not looking cakey. So we're going to take a little bit more of the Farsali. Bam. You know, I can get on board with this, guys. I definitely could get on board with this. And then you can automatically see it has different speeds. Okay, there we go. It's off. So now we're going to go ahead and move into brows. And we're going to take the Cream Shop Micro Brow. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. And again, I got mine in the shade Soft Brown. I'm Soft Brown in the Anastasia Brow Wiz, so I felt like it made sense. And again, I was able to find mine at my local CVS. This is what the product looks like. So it definitely is a little bit more of a heftier packaging when you compare it to like the Brow Wiz. So on one side, we get our angled brow product. And on the other side, you get a spoolie. This is going to be more similar to like the Benefit Goof Proof. Now, what is it? The Anastasia Beverly Hills. I forget what that one is called. I've personally never tried that one, the Brow Definer. I am more of a Brow Wiz type of gal. So did I just say gal? Okay, we're rolling with it. I am more of a Anastasia Brow Wiz type of girl. So, and again, you can see the angle here. Test this out. I will do my very best to keep this in frame. So far it's going on pretty smooth. I just got my brows done and the lady did an awful, terrible job. So only go to people you trust when it comes to your brows. And it's a pretty good color. It is gliding on very nicely and very smoothly. So far, again, I still got a lot of brow left to do. But so far, I could see this being a really nice, more affordable brow product, especially if you don't want to spend the 20 bucks on Anastasia or the 24, I believe, what Benefit brow products cost. Now I know why you do your brows off camera, because this is kind of difficult, trying to do your brows on camera and staying in focus. Alright guys, so I did my best to do the brows on camera, but it is difficult to do brows on camera. So the brow pencil is not my personal favorite. It is super creamy, and if you're into more of those, the fatter tipped, a little bit more angled brush, I feel like you probably would like it. Now it did apply a lot of product. My brows are definitely a little bit stronger than I typically have them. So it definitely is a little bit more of a learning curve, especially when you compare it to like the Brow Wiz, which is the pencil that I typically use. It's a lot finer and the color is a little bit different. The color on the soft brown on this particular brow pencil is a little bit darker. So as I think that this brow pencil is nice for the the tail and the outline, but I did have a little bit more trouble working it in the front of my brows. So that's just kind of my thought on that. I think that's more of a user error than there actually being something wrong with the product. I think it just depends on what you prefer. I use the Jaclyn Hill palette. She did not mention this in her most recent favorites video, but she typically uses this in all of her videos. So, and she created it. So duh, it's a favorite. Now I have the original packaging, so I'm not sure what the names are, but I used this shade here, this shade here. I went in with this shade here and a little bit of this guy right here, just to create this very simple look. Jaclyn did mention a pair of lashes that I did not pick up because I typically do not wear false lashes like ever in life, ever. So I didn't want to spend $30, $35, however much those lashes were for something that I wasn't going to use. So for me, that just didn't seem practical. But the next thing that we're going to be going in with is this guy right here. This is the Glam Bronze by Morphe. And again, it's in the shade Icon. Now, outside of shadows, I've never tried anything else from Morphe, I don't believe. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And this is what the packaging looks like here. And I believe that this guy retailed for $19 on the Ulta website. So I'm expecting a lot from this bronzer. And I believe it does come in 3 shades, with Icon being the lightest. So this is it right here. And it does come with a mirror. So the brush that I'm going to be using is a brush that, and yes, it is dirty, but that is okay. So it is a brush that I bought because of Jaclyn Hill. She used to rave about this all the time. This is the Tom Ford bronzer brush. It's a pretty color. Super subtle sun-kissed look, which I do like. That's nice. That's definitely a nice color. It's going onto the skin really easily. It's blending out super nicely. It's giving you a little bit of warmth without going overboard. That's nice. I like that so far. It's a pretty good color. It definitely has a little bit of warmth in it, but it definitely is a softer bronzer. Not one that I would contour with. This is warming up the face super nicely. It's not going on patchy. It's building quite nice. It's like a very subtle, warm, bronzy, sun-kissed look. That's quite nice. I think that so far, that's my second favorite thing so far. I'm into that. I like that a lot. Now, Jaclyn did mention the Kylie blushes, but those were sold out, so I do not have a blush to test out. Into this guy right here by Benefit, and this is, like I already mentioned, the Mini Bronze Squad. It comes with Gold Rush, which is a blush. It comes with Hoola, and it comes with the product that Jaclyn mentioned, which is the shade Cookie. And this retailed for 30 bucks, and I did pick this up on Sephora's website. I tried to go pick it up at Ulta, but I did not see it at Ulta. Ulta had the larger one that is 60 bucks, but they did not have this guy. So again, when you open it up, hello, hello, hello. I am going to just go ahead and take a little bit of the shade Gold Rush because I've never tried it, and why not? Now we're going to take my Anastasia, I think this is the A23 brush. I have no idea. The numbers have rubbed off because I've had it for so long. And we're going to go in with the shade Cookie. A little bit of the excess. Hello. That definitely has some pigment. It is blending into the skin quite nicely. Alright, so I took a little bit of the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, which is Jaclyn, I don't think mentioned, which is another one of Jaclyn's favorite powders. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and move on to the lips. We're going to take the shade Mannequin by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. And I already know that I do enjoy these. Mannequin is pretty light, so I will mix it in with something else. Jaclyn mentioned a Becca gloss that was available on Sephora, but I could not find it in store. So I will not be using that gloss today. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more of the Hourglass Mineral Veil powder, and then we are going to blend all of this in together. I'm feeling good about what we've got going on the face. The hair is a different story. Now we're going to go back in with the Farsali. And my fan. And pro tip from Miss Jaclyn Hill herself, I have not put on bottom lash mascara. Look at that glow. I hope it's picking up on camera, but I am having a really nice skin day. Like, this makeup turned out really, really nice. This fan, like, why don't we do this sooner? This should have been a thing a long time ago. There we go. I am into this. So let me put on some bottom mascara. Let me go do something with this head of hair, and then I will be right back. And my final thoughts on everything, you guys. I love the way that my makeup looks today. I think it looks really great. I think it looks really healthy. I think it looks really glowy. All in all, I'm very impressed with all of these products, but I did not doubt it for a second because Jaclyn Hill is one of my biggest YouTube inspirations. When it first came to me playing, testing new makeup, I would always purchase the products that she recommended, and I've never really truly been let down. I mean, obviously there's a lot of products that she talks about that I want to try, but I can't afford. But other than that, I think all of these, depending on your budget, are pretty affordable, and they're pretty good. Again, the only product that I did not immediately think was a good product was the brow product, and it's not even that it's not a good product, it's just that it's a user thing. I probably just don't know how to use it to the best of its abilities. If you have a little bit of a fuller brow, or if you want a little bit of a quicker brow, this would be really, really amazing. But I do think that my brows are a little bit stronger than they typically would be, but that also could be because of the color as well. This color is a teeny bit darker than the soft brown shade by Anastasia Beverly Hills. The next thing is the Fenty Beauty powder in the shade Lavender. Now, it definitely did brighten, and it definitely did give me a nice highlight. The only thing is, and again, that was me, not so much the product, I wish I had done my makeup application the way that I normally do, and I would have gone in with a little bit of a color corrector, but you can definitely see that there is still a little bit of darkness underneath my eye, and that, again, that's me, because I shouldn't have changed my techniques on how I do my makeup when testing out new products. But it definitely does brighten. It's not something that I see myself using every single day, like, you know, on a filming day or on a day when I'm going out for dinner with friends or doing something fun, definitely. But on a day where I'm just going to go to work and sell some stuff, probably not. But again, it is a super finely milled powder. Nothing, let me check. I didn't even check. Yeah, nothing is creasing, so it definitely did keep the concealer in place. I definitely would be interested in testing this out in a like more of a setting powder kind of situation to see how that works. So I might have to do that. This highlighter is absolutely beautiful. It sinks into the skin so nicely, and it gives you such a beautiful glow. Nothing is textured, nothing is overly accentuated, and I do have very textured skin. So I think that Benefit needs to get with the program, and they need to release that highlighter in a single for sure. Because when I had to go to a couple of different stores to find this, but I actually picked up the last one. I ended up at a Sephora inside of JCPenney's in order to pick this up. But I definitely think that this highlighter is beautiful. Would I recommend it for this highlighter? Probably, but if you have never tried Hoola and if you've never tried the Gold Rush blush, that is beautiful as well. So for $30, I definitely think that is a steal. The Morphe bronzer, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of shooketh by the Morphe bronzer. I think it's really beautiful. It blended really nicely. It didn't go on patchy. I feel like I am super duper bronzed right now. Like, I'm looking at myself in the monitor and I'm like, hey, who is she? So I'm definitely into this, and I definitely think that this is going to be a favorite, and you're gonna see, because I'm gonna be filming an Ulta haul right after this. I picked up a lot of bronzers, but I definitely feel like this one is gonna be in the forefront, and it is a little bit more on the affordable side, being at $19. So yes, Jaclyn, yes. And I know that you said in your video that that some people were gonna come for you and say that you only like it because it's Morphe. No, bitch, this is actually a good bronzer, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And again, a lot of people who have raved about it, people who don't always constantly talk about Morphe. So I think that this was nice. What else new did I try? Oh yeah, so Jaclyn said that this is probably one of her favorites of all of her favorites, and I definitely can see that. It did take my makeup application to the next level. Now, I haven't played with the Lila B. I need to play with the Lila B a little bit more and kind of see which one I might like better. I haven't purchased a Tatcha Dewy Skin Mist in quite a while, and of course I picked both of those up, or all of those up, per Miss Hill's recommendation. But I love the glowiness of my skin. I don't look overly oily. I don't look like things are going to start breaking apart. I just look really healthy, really glowy, and I did do a little bit more of her technique, and I probably applied a little bit more of this than I would have on my own. But this is nice, and again, this is by Farsali. I do believe that this retails for $39, and it is 1.7 fluid ounces. And yes, this fan is about to become an everyday staple of mine. I'm going to be using this fan every single day when I do my makeup. I don't care. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to love it. And thank you for the pro tip, girl. So all in all, and again, I kind of expected that. This was very successful. I really enjoyed the way my makeup looked, as I've said 75 times in this video. I didn't mention any of the other products because they're products that I've already used, tested, loved. And I don't think that you can go wrong with any of the particular products. The only thing that I would probably swap out is, and it's so icky, why is it so gross? The only thing that I would probably swap out for my personal self, for my everyday makeup, I would swap out the Tarte Shape Tape for the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, because I do like that one a little bit more. I do think that the Too Faced one is a little bit more hydrating, definitely if you have more dry under eyes. If you have oily under eyes, or if you have, you know, oily skin, or if you don't have too many wrinkles and fine lines and things like that underneath your eyes, the Tarte Shape Tape will probably work really well for you. The Jeffree Star liquid lips have always been a favorite of mine, so definitely knew that was going to be a hit because I've tested those. Hourglass powder, it's super nice. Another one of my favorite powders is the Cover FX powder. The Hourglass is a staple, and the Too Faced Born This Way are all some of my favorite products that I keep on rotation all the time. So love that. And then of course, you can definitely see that I have been about the Smashbox primer oil for quite some time, and I stopped using it though because my skin went a little bit more combo. So let me see how this wears throughout the day, see if my makeup breaks up a little bit more since I used this, but I did not apply very much, and I did not mix it in with my foundation. So I think that this is going to be like an okay situation. So if you've been on the fence about this and you do have drier skin, or you want to make a lot of your matte foundations a little less matte, this might be something that you want to look into. So all in all, I loved all of these different products. I do want to mention that this is going to be a series on my channel. If you guys are into this, the next two people that I plan on doing are Samantha Ravindal and Kathleen Lights. Samantha Ravindal will probably be next because I do have all of the products that she mentioned in her most recent video -1. And a couple of the products that Kathleen Lights mentioned are out of stock online. So Samantha will probably be next, and then Tati will be at some point as well. So give this video a thumbs up if you want to see a series on me testing all of YouTubers' favorite makeup, especially people like Kathleen who do favorites videos every single month. I think this will be super fun to test things out. So again, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are into that idea, and yeah, I will see you in the next video.